Hey guys, well welcome to Thrive Startup. This is a 1-hour event designed to show you why and how real estate is the perfect startup business. My name is Chris Bryant. I'm the real estate coach at Murney Associates Realtors, and my work is to help agents, both existing and brand new, learn how to build a business from the ground up to give you the life that you want. So where are we going? First and foremost, we're going to talk about you. I want to talk about why you're here. And here's what I've found. There are similar themes that show up in every single person I talk to that's interested in starting their own business. They want freedom, they want wealth, they want to do something that matters. We're going to talk about that for a little bit. Second, we're going to talk about why real estate checks the boxes. So I want to let you in on the ways that real estate can do that for you. And third, I want to let you see what it looks like in some lives, in some actual agents. So I'm going to introduce you to 3 agents who have just killed it in this business and let you see how it's worked out in their lives. And then fourth, I'm going to give you 5 competitive advantages, things that I believe if you'll do these things, if you enter into this business and put these things in practice, you will absolutely stand out from the competition and build a strong and sustainable business. And then last, we're just going to give you some next steps, some things that I hope you'll do coming out of this 1-hour event. I've been in real estate for 20 years now. I started back in 2000. Since then, I've sold over $100 million in volume. 10 of those years, I worked on the #1 real estate agents team. And along the way, I built a building business. I built a rental company to where I had up to 10 properties in my portfolio. I've traveled all over the nation learning from different brokerages and companies and training companies. I love the work of real estate, and now I am the coach, the business development coach at the #1 company in Southwest Missouri, Murney Associates Realtors. And probably the best thing about me out of all of that is my family. It's who I do it for. My wife, Summer. We've been married 18 years this year, and my 2 kids, Savannah, who's 12, and Kai, who is 10. So that's a little bit about me. Now I want to talk about you. But before we do that, before I get into that, I just want to remind you, you can see along the side the questions and answers, the chat area. I want to invite you to ask any questions you have. We are standing by to answer those questions to help you in any way we can. So be sure and use the chat, say hello, introduce yourself, say something along the side. Interaction and engagement is good. All right, so now let's talk about you. Let's talk about what you want and why you are here. Now, I want to invite you to, what do you want? I want to ask you to put that in the chat, but I'm going to give you the themes that I consistently see in agents about why they're willing to do this, why they want to do this. So I'm going to answer the question for you. What do you want? Well, first, you want freedom. You want the ability to make your own hours, work from where you want, when you want. You want to call the shots on your own life. This isn't just about work. This is about life. And so you want freedom. Second, I think you want wealth. You want to be able to have enough money to buy the things you need, to send your kids to the school you want to send them to go the places you want to go. I think you want to be able to give to the things that matter to you. That all takes money. And so you enter into this because you want wealth so that you can do the things you want. Third, you want meaning. You want impact. You know, I think this is hardwired into every single one of us. We want to do something that matters. We want to do good work. And fourth, and I think this is really an outcome of those 3, you want to be happy. You know, every single one of us, all of us would agree, we want joy. We want to be happy. Well, I'll say this. I think that when you have the freedom to build the life you want and you've got enough money along the way and you're doing something that matters, I think the result is happiness. I think that happiness is not something you really aim at. It's something you get as a result of what you're doing. So having been in the business for 20 years now, I can tell you this. I believe real estate is an amazing business to help you get just that. All right, so if that's what you want, why does real estate check the boxes? Well, first and foremost, freedom. As a real estate agent, you are the boss and the employee. You're an independent contractor. You can run your business how you want it and where you want it. This business is totally mobile. You can do half of it from your phone. You can do it from a laptop. You can do it while you're out of town, while you're in town, while you're at home, or here at the office. It's a totally mobile business. The other part of freedom, and I'm going to say this is really tailored to Murney Associates. All brokerages are different. There's a huge difference in brokerages. And the way that we've set up our company is where when you get your license and you come on board here, you have a whole team of people that have put all the pieces in place for you so you don't get pinned down trying to figure out what's your logo going to be? What's your marketing going to be? Where are you going to get your insurance? How are you going to do your office space? What about phones and technology and marketing and all that stuff? You have all those things to figure out. Well, as a company, one of the ways we free our agents up to just go build the business is we have in-house marketing department. We have an in-house coach. You don't go hire a coach somewhere else. That's me. We have in-house closing department. Our brokers are available 24/7. Yes, I'm doing a shameless plug for Murney Associates, and it's because if you want freedom, the brokerage you choose makes a huge difference. All right, so freedom, real estate absolutely checks the boxes. Second is wealth. You want to be able to build an income that actually pays for your life. And this is what's kind of exciting about this. Your wealth in this business, the income you can earn in this business, it's really only limited by the number of people that you can know. So when I sit down to interview agents, one of the first questions that I ask him is, how long have you been in the area? Why am I asking that? I just want to know the relational capacity of the person. Chances are, if they've been here a while, they know people. And so what I'm trying to figure out is not what's their potential long-term, but what's their potential right now, as in how many people do you know? You know, this business is kind of interesting. A lot of people say that it's unpredictable. You don't know what's going to happen. Well, I'll tell you what, I don't think it's that unpredictable. I think agents are unpredictable. If you tell me how many people you know and that you'll nurture relationships with those people, which we're going to talk about more later, I can tell you how much income potential you have. And so here's the key point on this. How much can you make in this business? It's answered by how many people can you connect with. This is a business about serving people. And I don't know about you, but there's 400,000 people in our greater Springfield area. That's a lot of opportunity to build wealth. All right. Third thing is impact. It's meaning, it's purpose. Listen, people want to do something that matters. Let me ask you a question. If you went and Googled right now, what's the largest investment a person will ever make? What would you find? It'd probably be their house. It'd be their house. Go Google this. What's the top 10 most stressful moments in a person's life? Moving. It's going to be 9 times out of 10, it's going to be in the top 10 list. And so you get to come alongside someone during a time that's very kind of strenuous and stressful for them, and you get to do it with the largest investment they ever make. You know, one of the things about being a real estate agent, you're not really selling anything. You're a guide. You're an advisor. You're helping someone win at home ownership. And not just that. Think about it. You're walking through people's homes with them. This is a very sacred space for them. We've learned that this year. People's homes are where they hang out. It's where they do life. It's where they write their stories. And you get to be a part of all of that. Listen, Howard Schultz said something that I think has always been so good. He said this about Starbucks, that we're not in the coffee business selling it to people. We're in the people business selling coffee. And I think that's so good. This business is not about selling houses. It's about serving people. And for me, that work matters. And so this work not only allows you to build a great wealth, have the freedom you want, but it's meaningful, good work. You can really do good in people's lives as a real estate agent. So that's the first thing. Why does it check the boxes? I think it gives you all of those things that we just talked about. And because of that, I think it's an opportunity to build a good life. All right. Having said that, I want to introduce to you our panelists. These are 3 amazing agents who've done such a phenomenal job with their business in short time. So first, let me introduce to you Ashley Burton. Ashley, just tell us about you a bit.
My name is Ashley Burton, and I have been in real estate for about 5 months now. Before coming to Murney, I worked as a nonprofit manager and community developer, and since being here, I've sold about $2 million in volume. I really enjoy being a real estate agent, and I hope that I can share my experience with you.
Ashley, that's great. Well, I gotta say, that's phenomenal. I mean, there's kind of been this whole thing called a pandemic that's going on. You started at the same time. In just a few short months, you've sold over $2 million in real estate. So I think the first question I have for you is just tell us what that transition was like. I mean, I don't know what you were doing before and how you brought those skills and what it felt like, maybe the thoughts that were going through your mind. Just tell us what that transition to real estate felt like.
Well, when I left my position working full time, I didn't know what I was going to do. I had considered many options. I thought about starting a business, but I wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to do. So when I decided to do real estate, some of the things that were going through my mind was I wanted to work for myself. I no longer wanted to work for another company, and I wanted to be able to take control over my own success and be able to kind of lead the lifestyle that I wanted to lead.
That's awesome. And you feel like real estate's done that for you?
Yes, I'm able to set my own schedule. I'm able to set my own goals. And whenever I achieve my goals, I feel like I have had all the effort put into that. So
well, and Ashley, that's one thing I love about you. You are goal oriented. You put your eye on the ball and you charge toward it. So tell me this, Ashley. I know people are going to love to write this down. They're going to love to hear these as I ask each of you this question. But what do you think is like the one thing that's really contributed to your success? I mean, in such short time, in just a few months, what would you say is the one thing that's helped you do that?
I think the biggest thing that's contributed to my success is that I just leapt in. Like I just took the leap and I did the work and I didn't look back. One thing that held me back at first was a lot of fear. I feared that there were too many agents out there to compete with, or that I wouldn't be able to pay my bills if I just started relying on my own income as a business owner. But I think that by just taking the leap, expecting the most out of myself, that's what's helped me the most.
Wow, that's amazing. I mean, to me, that sounds like you knew it was a risk and you said, I'm going to take the risk and I'm going to do this. I mean, would you agree with that?
Absolutely. It is a huge leap and it's a big risk. And I think that if you believe in yourself and you just step out there and you do it, you might surprise yourself.
Yeah, well, you've surprised me. I mean, I guess I hadn't. When you came on, I remember saying, keep an eye on that girl. She's going to do something, and you've certainly done it. So I know you've just done this for a few months, but tell me this, knowing what you know today, like just a few months into it, tell me what's one thing that you might have done a little bit differently if you knew what you knew now then. What would you do differently?
I just would have started this a lot earlier. I wouldn't have waited so long. I wouldn't have questioned myself, and I would have just went for it.
All right, Ashley, so everyone here, they came on to know how and why real estate. Just tell us from your perspective, why has real estate been a good fit for you?
Real estate has been a great fit for me as a mother because I've been able to balance my work and my life. I've been able to have a career and be a mother and support my family financially. So it's just been a way for me to have a business, but still be able to be a mother.
I love it. That's so good to hear, Ashley. Well, hey, Ashley, how can people find you, follow up with you, connect with you if they want to after this?
Yeah, you can reach me on Facebook. Follow my Facebook page at Ashley Burton Realtor. Or if you would ever just want to give me a call, I would love to meet with new agents and give them my tips and my experience.
That's great. Now, and you guys better follow her. Keep an eye on her and watch what she's doing because she is building something great. Thank you, Ashley.
Thank you.
Next, I want to introduce you to Amanda Marsh. Amanda, thanks for being here today. Tell us a little bit about you.
Absolutely. I'd love to, Chris. Thanks for the opportunity to be here. My name is Amanda Marsh. I reside in Ozark, Missouri with my husband and my two daughters, ages 10 and 12. And before this, I was actually a stay-at-home mom for the last decade. And before that, I was a product specialist for a major car company where I traveled the United States doing auto shows and different marketing events. So I went to real estate school in January of this year, got licensed on the last day, spent all of February over here at Murney in all of the Thrive training classes, and joined my team and started really working my business in March. Had my first closing in April in the middle of the pandemic, and had set what I thought was a lofty goal for myself when I started in this business at $3 million. And I am actually on track now at $5.5 million. So by the close of the year, I am going to double my goal. So I'm really excited about that.
Absolutely phenomenal. That's unheard of. Well, let me ask you a few questions here. So for you, what was the transition like for you from going to stay-at-home mom to real estate agent?
I think the biggest transition is just the challenge of scheduling, where I'm supposed to be at what time, and then carving out in my day enough time to get from point A to point B and make sure everybody's happy at the end of the day and everybody has been served to the best of my ability.
So, you've closed over $5 million in just a few months' time. How did you do that? And really, I think I want to ask you to answer it in one way. Like, what do you think is like the one thing that has contributed to your success?
I think everything has led me to this point. Everything in my life journey has led me to exactly where I am today. And I'm a people person. I love building relationships. I love serving people. And I have a passion for this business. And hopefully, that's what my clients see in me. And that translates over to always giving them my all and 110% in the red carpet service.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. And I think that's great for those who are listening, who are watching today, because everybody comes from a different walk of life and they've got all these experiences behind them. And for you, you're just saying, I loaded up all the experiences behind me. I put it into this, I put it into passion, and that's how I serve my clients well. Is that a good shorthand of that?
Oh, 100%. Yes. And I think, anybody that is out there watching and maybe they're, teachers or they're in the medical profession, whatever you're doing right now, or a stay-at-home mom like me for the last decade, you use those life experiences and that translates over to real-world experience that then helps your business.
Knowing all that you know now, what's maybe one thing that you would have done different this year? Just one thing maybe you've learned.
That's a great question. I would have done this sooner. I wouldn't have waited. I would have went and got my license and been here at Murney and these trainings, 5 years ago. That's what I would have done different.
All right, so Amanda, the same question that I asked Ashley. People are here, they're wondering, is real estate the best next step for me? Why real estate? What would you say to them about that?
Obviously, if you're here and you're watching this, you already have the interest in it. And the only thing that may be holding you back is just getting out of your own head and doing it. So, they always say the hardest first step is taking it. So my advice is, sign up before you have any other time to pass by and think and overthink things, and just do it.
Let's just do it. That's great. Take a step. That's great. Well, Amanda, how can people follow up with you or follow you or contact you?
Yes, well, I would love for you to follow me. My Instagram is Amanda Selling the 417. And I actually have an IGTV series on there where I do home tours for the Michelle Cantrell Group as well as my own listings. And then you can find me on Facebook at Amanda Renee Marsh. And again, I think you can find me at Amanda Selling the 417 on there on my business page as well.
And those are so good. Those videos are great. So those of you who are watching, hop on there and learn. She's a boss on video. So Amanda, thank you for being here as well.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Chris, for having me. And I just want to say good luck to everyone watching.
Well, the final panelist here today, I want to introduce him to you, is Dustin Langston. Dustin, tell us a little bit about you.
Hi, I'm Dustin, and this is my 4th year in real estate. This year, I've had the pleasure of starting my own team, Langston Group, and it's been phenomenal. We have achieved just over 17 million in sales so far the year, with our goal being about 20 million. And when I'm not selling real estate, at home, I have a beautiful wife and 3 sons, and we have a lot of fun with our hobbies and things as well.
Excellent. That's great. And Dustin, just so I know, what were you doing before this?
Yeah, so before this, I was a touring musician and also owned rental property and managed that as well.
That's amazing. Well, Dustin, a few questions for you that I know people are going to love to hear the answers to. First, tell me this. What was the transition like for you moving from the entrepreneur musician to entrepreneur in real estate? What was that like for you?
Yeah, really, it wasn't that much of a change. Being a musician, you have basically you're running your own business. So I always think that musicians make great realtors because you have to learn to market yourself and you have to put yourself out there with your product. And so in real estate, really the name of the game is networking, right? It's meeting people, treating them right, and providing an excellent customer service. Which with music, it's very similar. So it really wasn't that hard of a transition for me.
Think about this, Dustin. In 2016, you had never sold a house, and now you're one of the top few percent of agents in the entire Springfield market. I got to ask you, what do you think for you the one thing was that really has contributed to you? And maybe one thing's hard for you to boil down, but what would you say one thing that's really contributed to your success would be?
Yeah, I think the one thing that contributed to my success is my clients. It really started off with just a few close friends who trusted me. I had interacted with them in other aspects, from rental property that I owned to being in music or whatever my hobbies were, and they trusted me to carry them through this transaction. From that, it has snowballed into referrals, and those referrals have compounded into other referrals. And so without my friends and my family in the beginning helping me get that snowball started, I truly don't believe I'd be here today.
And that's one of the things we're going to be talking about. But really what you just said, Dustin, is relationships. I mean, you said it's about your clients. You're exactly right. But man, this is a business about building relationships. And I know few people that do it as well as you, Dustin. So kudos to you for that. Last question I have for you is, knowing what you know now, what would you do different? I mean, you've been in the business this is your 4th year. What's maybe 1 or 2 things that you would do differently if you were able to start over?
Yeah, that's really tough. If I'm being honest, I would probably say nothing. And the reason is there are successes and failures. And through the failures, you're learning something. And if I were to go back in time and avoid those failures, there's some pretty hard lessons that I would not have learned that are necessary to this business. So I honestly have to say I probably wouldn't change anything. And because every choice that has been made has led me to the path I'm on now. And I'm sure there will be more failures in the future, but as long as you're willing to learn from them, those are also successes.
All right, Dustin, the same question I've asked the others. I want to ask you, why real estate? People are here, they're wondering, is this a good step for me? Should I do this? They have fears. What would you say to them about why real estate?
Sure. It's not an easy decision to make, and it puts you in a vulnerable position because most people are used to a job where there's a steady pay. And with real estate, you're really putting yourself out there and relying on commission and your performance to pay the bills. Now, that is also part of the reason why I love this business. I've never had any kind of career or job in the past that allows me to put a lot of work into it and reap a lot of rewards at the same time. Some jobs, you put a lot of work into it and you pretty much are going to get the same results out of it. What I found in this business is the more that I put into this, the longer hours that I spend with clients or at the office doing paperwork, the more my business grows and the more my family can flourish. Now, that's just one aspect that I love about this business. Another one is people think that we don't have free time. Well, it can be that we're busy in the evenings when other people are off and it seems like we don't have a lot of free time. But in reality, I wake up every day and I can do pretty much whatever I want. I choose to be busy. I enjoy being busy, and being busy for me isn't going and pushing paper all day. Being busy for me is going to the coffee shop, talking with people, networking, playing really hard. A lot of my business comes from my sphere and my hobbies. So in order to get these clients, I go ride dirt bikes. I go out to eat. I go do track days, and these are where my clients come from. And it's really something that I truly enjoy. So just the other day, in fact, yesterday, I decided to show up to a showing on my motorcycle because it was a showing out in Chadwick, Missouri. And these were people I knew, so I felt comfortable bringing my bike rather than showing up in my truck. And I get there and I said, "Hey guys, I'm sorry. I hope you don't mind. I took advantage of the weather. I rode the bike in." And he's like, "Oh no, it's great. It's great." He goes, "You know what? You probably have the best job." And after he said that, I took a second to think about that, and he's right. Like, this is the best job. What other job do I get to truly enjoy meeting my client? I get to take my bike. I get to, on the way back, play around in the trails at Chadwick a little bit, and no one's there telling me that I needed to clock in or clock out and don't do this and don't do that. As long as my clients are satisfied and I'm taking care of them and I am honoring their time, you can really have some free time to do what you want. So Yes, I love this career. It's definitely something that has been a huge blessing for me and my family. Yes, it is a little bit of a risk taking that first step out, but I can promise you that if you just keep putting one foot in front of the other, you will be surprised. I'm still waiting to wake up from this dream and find out that this isn't real, because this is just truly an incredible career.
That's awesome. That is amazing, Dustin. Well, let me ask you one last thing. How do people find you? If they want to ask you a question or they want to follow up or follow you, where do you want to send them?
Yeah, sure. I've got a Facebook. Just look me up, Dustin Langston. Probably wearing the same shirt in my profile picture. Should be easy to find. You can connect with me there. Our website is betterlifespringfield.com. And Langston Group also has a Facebook. But if you want to reach me personally, just hit me up on Facebook. I'd be happy to add you as a friend.
Well, thank you for being here today, Dustin.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, so now that we've heard from our panel, I want to share with you 5 competitive advantages that I have learned over the years, not only in my own business, but in those I coach. So here they are. Number 1, you've got to build relationships every single day. Listen, your income in this business is only limited by the number of relationships you build. So let's say, for example, you say, I want to make $100,000 a year. I can actually back that down to the statistics that tell us, can you talk to 5 people a day about real estate? If you'll talk to 5 people a day about real estate and nurture those relationships, you can absolutely make $100,000 a year in real estate. It's possible. That's number 1. You've got to build relationships every single day. Number 2, you've got to go for a narrow target audience. So there's 400,000 people in the greater Springfield area. Typically, when I ask a real estate agent, who will you work with? Who do you want to work with? Well, they'll say anyone, everyone. And that's true. You will work with anyone, but here's the secret. Just because you'll work with everyone does not mean you market to everyone. You have to narrow down your target audience and decide who are you going to try to work with and serve and help first. That's why the first step I tell any agent to do, I'm telling you to do it right now, is build a database. Build a list of people that you've already got relationships with. That's your first target audience. So avoid the mistake of saying, I want to go work with anyone. I want to market to everyone. I just want to get my name out there. You can't afford to do it and it won't work. Choose a narrow target audience, okay? Number 3, you've got to solve a problem. Most agents don't know that they exist to solve a problem. You know, every business, they all exist to solve a problem, to save people time, to save people money, to make people money, to take away stress from their life. It's no different for real estate. You've got to know, as a real estate agent, you exist, your business exists to solve a problem. So really, you've got to know, what's the problem you're being hired to solve? Well, we won't go too deep in the woods there, but there's a lot of things that can go wrong in a real estate transaction. There's a lot of steps that have to be taken. Well, that's why you're being hired, so that they don't have to endure the stress or fall into those places that might cost them time, money, and yes, sleep. So as a real estate agent, you've got to know you exist, your business exists to solve a problem, and you got to know what problem that is. And every day your feet hit the floor, you wake up looking for someone to serve, to help them get what they want. You help them get what they want, and I promise you, you'll get what you want, okay? 4th thing is you got to have a plan. 87% of real estate agents, they fail out of the business in the first 5 years. Why? They enter into the business without a plan. If you decided you wanted to drive somewhere, anywhere, that doesn't do it. You've got to decide, where do you want to put the pin on the map and how are you going to get there? This business is no different. You've got to decide, what do you want and what is your strategy? What is your plan to get there? Without a plan, you'll flip and flop and go this way and that, and it just won't work. You've got to have a plan. So much of the time I spend with real estate agents, it's helping them not only develop their plan, but execute a strategy that'll make it happen. So 4th, you got to have a plan. And 5th and finally, don't do it alone. This business is so uniquely set up to where you don't have to do it alone. You have an entire team of agents, and yes, at Murney Associates, we have an entire staff that is built to make it to where you don't have to do it alone. We see ourselves as an accelerator for small business owners. For those entrepreneurs who say, I want to go build a business. Well, we want you to go build a business, and we don't want you to be tied down by all the things that can hold you back from building that business strong. That's why we're here. We take your signs out for you. We build your marketing for you. We come alongside you so that you can go work on building the relationships and building the business. So don't do it alone. And let me say one more comment about this. I hear so many agents that are new in the business that say, hey, I've been told that I need to be on a team. Is that true? It may be true, but this is the way that I talk to agents that come here. Hey, when you come to our company, you don't have to be on a team. You've got a team. You've got a built-in team of people whose only job is to help you succeed in what you do. So when you enter into this business, it gives you a unique opportunity to go it alone without ever being alone. Well, there's so much more that I'd love to be able to share with you to help you create your own startup, but we need to land the plane. And so let me just give you 2 next steps. First, I've created a free quick start guide to help you launch your own real estate business. I want to send that to you. Second, I'd like to meet with you. I'd like to figure out for you, what does it look like? People come from all walks of life. It looks different for everyone. So let's sit down and talk about what it would look like for you. My information is on the screen. Shoot me a message, get the guide. Let's set up a time to meet. Well, I hope this has been helpful for you. I've enjoyed doing this with you. We're still in the chat. If you have questions that you want to ask away. We'd love to be able to answer those questions and help you in any way we can. Be sure and follow me on Facebook, Chris Bryant Real Estate Coach, and you'll see more events like this, more tips, tricks, things that you need to know to help you build your business in the future. Thanks for coming today, guys. We'll see you next time.